Hello, Blackhawks Nation. Welcome to the Blackhawks Daily, your favorite recap of the daily buzz around your Chicago Blackhawks. I'm your host, PJ. Thank you for joining us in uplifting and supporting the Hawks as they head into their centennial season. So freaking exciting. Lots to cover as usual. Today, we have our top 4 topics, so let's dive in, take a look around old Blackhawks world, shall we? So, today, we're going to be talking about the biggest trade and contract stories heating up in the NHL. And we're going to talk about, at least for my estimation, the 3 biggest names that it's kind of currently being talked about. That's Kirill Kaprizov, Connor McDavid, and Mason McTavish. So there are rumors flying, there's contracts stalling, front offices playing a very expensive game of chicken. So let's break it all down and ask the big question, could one of these guys end up in Chicago? One could dream, right? So let's start with Kirill Kaprizov, because this one's kind of getting loud. Reports say that the Wild offered him an 8-year deal worth $128 million, and he straight up turned it down. Now, is he asking for more? Possibly. Is he getting cold feet about staying in Minnesota long term? Well, that's the $1 million, or more accurately, $138 million or $130 million question. We've even got whispers of tampering from around the league, which is NHL speak for other teams might already be making calls. Bleacher Report put out a list of teams that they think could make a serious push if Minnesota actually listens to offers. We got some people we know, New York Rangers, Boston, Anaheim, Buffalo, and yes, Chicago. Don't forget Carolina as well. A team with cap space, draft picks, and a star like Bedard. We check a lot of boxes for these guys. So, real talk though, Minnesota is reportedly not shopping him right now. But if this deal keeps stalling, that could change pretty fast. Number 2, Connor McDavid. And if you happen to be an Edmonton's fan, I wouldn't even worry about it, right? McDavid, he is entering his last year of the contract, and while the Oilers say they're confident in getting the deal done, things are moving slower than many people expected. But truly, let's be honest, anytime McDavid's name is in a sentence with contract talks, every fan base starts dreaming, could he hit free agency? Could he ask out of his contract? Now, no insider is saying he's getting traded. The Oilers are still building around him, but this could end up being a short-term bridge deal instead of a mega max deal. So just to give him some options down the road. So yeah, nothing immediate, but definitely something worth watching, right? You never know. You never know. And then finally, we've got Mason McTavish out of Anaheim. Now, this one actually low-key getting kind of interesting. McTavish is still a restricted free agent. He hasn't signed yet. According to reports, the Ducks are playing hardball, and some media sources are saying that this could get ugly. He's young, he's physical, and if Anaheim starts listening to offers, you better believe the Blackhawks should make the call. Right now, though, the Ducks are reportedly saying, nope, we're keeping him. But as we all know, money talks, and standoffs don't last forever. So here's the bottom line. Kaprizov could be the big name on the move if things go sideways in Minnesota. Chicago's got the cap space and the prospects to kind of make it interesting. McDavid isn't going anywhere yet, but the way that his next deal shapes up could change the future for him and for superstar contracts across the NHL. So we'll see what that impact is, especially with Bedard coming to sign anytime, right, between now and the next season. So I'm sure he's watching that very closely. And then McTavish is kind of a stealth option. And if Anaheim keeps dragging this out, we could see some real movement. So let me know down in the comments, who would you want the Hawks to chase? If any of these, let's just dream, all 3 of them hit the trade block, which ones would you go after? We could probably only afford one. So which one would you go after? Would you break the bank for Kaprizov? Would you wait out for McDavid? Or would you see McTavish as kind of like this sneaky future building block? Let me know in the comments. You guys are always so good about that. Moving on from there, we have, let's kind of take a pause here. Let's take a little stock. Camp's in motion. It's going for sure. Cuts are happening. And the under-20s just got sent back down to the juniors. So with the dust still settling, we've got a clearer picture of how the Blackhawks are shaping their roster and what likely it's going to look like opening night. So here's some things we need to know. Number one, the roster was cut down to 49 players. So on the 24th, Wednesday, the Hawks officially trimmed their training camp roster to 49 players. So we got 26 forwards, we got 17 defensemen, and still 6 goaltenders. As part of that, 4 young forwards, Nathan Bem, Parker Holmes, Jack Pridham, and Merrick Vanaker, were reassigned down to their junior clubs. Now that's a signal that the organization is starting to focus on who might realistically make the NHL squad this season. Another thing to consider is Grzelcyk, right? To bolster a thin but young blue line, the Blackhawks signed veteran defenseman Matt Grzelcyk to a professional tryout, otherwise known as a PTO. It's a low-risk move. If he performs well, he could earn a contract. If he doesn't perform well, then he's just out when the season starts. If he does stick, though, he does add experience and depth behind some younger defenders. Sorry. And as we know, he scored 40 points last year, 1 goal, but 39 assists. So he does bring value there, of course. And then, of course, another thing to look at, we have some key signings and retentions. Over the summer, the Hawks locked in Ryan Donato on a 4-year, $16 million extension after a career year. On the back end, we just got Wyatt Kaiser under the wire. Now has a 2-year deal in hand, clearing uncertainty on our left side on the D line. And of course, Spencer Knight, the team's future between the pipes, signed a 3-year extension just this offseason. Those moves lock in some core players that help define where younger players will still need to push. Group 1 practice hints is something to look at. Bleacher Nation noted that during a recent split squad practice, the Group 1 roster included names like Artem Levshinov, Ethan Del Mastro, Colton Dock, Oliver Moore, and Ryan Green, along with Mr. PTO Grzelcyk. Notably absent from that group, Landon Slaggert, AJ Spellacy, Joey Anderson, and Samuel Savoie, either held out due to injury, rest, or margin calls. And that gives us some hints about who's getting more favorable looks early. Now, based on all this, here's a projected look, some speculative bits for Chicago's opening night roster. So, top lines. Feels like Bedard will center his usual line, of course, possibly with Donato and Burakovsky, we've talked about this, on his wings. That 5-year extension to Donato signals the organization's faith in him. Middle 6 and depth, you'll see Nazar, Moore, Reichel, Green, and 1 or 2 veterans like Jason Dickinson. And then bottom 6, with energy, right? Players like Landon Slaggert, AJ Spellacy, assuming that he heals, and possibly Aiden Thompson or Nick Lardis could battle for their slots. So it's all up in the air. And this on defense is where it gets interesting. The likely core, Vlasic, he's in, obviously. Connor Murphy brings a lot of veteran presence. Sam Renzel, expected to be a regular. In fact, expected to be one of our shining stars. Artem Levshinov, all the skill, he's just got to show consistency. Wyatt Kaiser, he's signed, he's definitely in the mix. Kevin Korchinski, Ethan Del Mastro, Nolan Allen, and Louis Crevier are in the mix for the last 1 or 2 spots, and possibly Matt Grzelcyk as well, if he earns it, right? Out of those 5, Korchinski, Del Mastro, Allen, Crevier, and Grzelcyk, if there's only 2 slots, you got to think Del Mastro's in there because he's been playing well, or at least he's been practicing well. He had a couple of slip-ups in the game against Detroit, but overall he's been playing well, and he pairs really well with Renzel. So I think he's going to make it, and Crevier is probably going to be staying around. Maybe Allen. We'll see. We'll see. If all these guys pan out, then the Hawks will rely heavily on youth-back pairs. Grzelcyk will be the veteran to lean on if they want more stability, if he makes it. Goaltenders, we got 2, right? Spencer Knight will start with number 1 as our 1A. Expectations high for him after this extension. Soderblom is going to be the backup. Laurent Brossoit is long-term sidelined with hip surgery. So you got your 1A and 1B right there. And there you go. So, wild cards to watch. Grzelcyk's PTO gamble. He needs to impress or he's gone. We've got injuries and recovery. Spellacy, Henry, Anderson, and others have already had some health flags. So Spellacy should be back pretty quickly. Henry, I think, is going to be out a little bit longer. Young defense consistency is something to watch. Levshinov, Korchinski, and Del Mastro, they all need to hold up under pressure better than they showed in Detroit. And then cap and contract constraints. Bedard's next deal looms. The team must balance proving youth versus playing value players. So the Blackhawks are clearly building around youth, veterans filling in as needed. The moves that they've made so far are conservative, but purposeful. The opening night roster will be a mix, some safe bets, some high upside experiments, and likely a surprise or two. Who do you guys think is gonna punch through on the old NHL squad? Who do you expect to be one of those guys who is going to be like a surprise out of nowhere roster fill? I still love Lardis, even though I have heard that they might be wanting him to start in the AHL where he's just going to be their star, and that way he gets a lot of experience. But again, it's all up in the air. We're going to see. So it's always fun to talk about, though. It's always fun to pontificate about those things. And we've got, this is still game week. We've got another game coming up. You're seeing this on Friday. Tomorrow night, Saturday, we got the game, right? It's a juicy one. Blackhawks head down St. Louis for their first real preseason test against the Blues. Now, I know it's technically just preseason, but let's be honest. Anytime the Blackhawks and the Blues share the same sheet of ice, it matters. Whether you're watching for the rivalry, the roster battles, or just to see Bedard get going, there's plenty to break down, so let's take a look at it. It might just be preseason, but when the Blackhawks face off against the St. Louis Blues, it always brings something to the table, right? This weekend's going to be no different. It's a rivalry even in September. So they have these two teams have hated each other for decades, right? This has been more than 50 years of them going at each other. From the St. Patrick's Day Massacre in 91 to the Winter Classic at Wrigley, the energy's always high. You better believe someone's finishing a check when they don't need to. But this game, it's more than just about old grudges. For us, it's really a roster test. New head coach Blashill has run a high-intensity camp. We're starting to see who's rising, who's fading, who's pushing for an NHL roster spot. This game in St. Louis could be the tipping point for a few big decisions. So let's start on the blue line where the depth chart is starting to crowd kind of quickly. Sam Rinzel, Artem Levchinov are both right-handed or right-shot defensemen getting long looks and top four pairings. Rinzel especially is making a strong case to be in the opening night lineup. He's smart, he's mobile, he's already shown flashes in his NHL preseason play, but he's not alone. Ethan Del Mastro, whom a lot of people love, Nolan Allen, Kevin Korchinski, Wyatt Kaiser are all in this fight. Keep your eye on Nolan Allen. We highlighted him a few episodes ago. He made the team out of the camp last year and has been playing on his offside next to Korchinski in practice. Blashill said it best. Allen isn't flashy, but his game shows up when the lights are on. He's physical, he's smart, he plays with a steady edge. A strong game against the Blues could just be punching his ticket back into the lineup. Up front, it's more of the same. Oliver Moore, Landon Slaggert, Ryan Green, Nick Lardis, all of them are fighting to stick with the big club. Preseason games like this are make or break for the young guys. The Blues play fast and physical, and if you can thrive in that kind of game, you're going to get noticed. And then there's, of course, the top line, where Connor Bedard is centering with Donato and Burakovsky. This is a combination Blashill clearly likes. Donato had 31 goals last year and already had chemistry with Bedard. Burakovsky is a puck mover and can carry through the neutral zone and hit Bedard in stride. The goal here is to give Bedard some structure. Let him find his space, and then let the veterans do the work around him. Also, another name to definitely consider keeping out on for the Blues game is Reichel. See how he does as well, because he didn't make a big statement last time. He didn't really stamp his case. So I'm hoping that in this game with the Blues, he really does show up and does really, really well. In the net, Soderblom is going to get the nod most likely. With Spencer Knight already locked in for the 1A role, Soderblom just needs to show some more confidence and consistency if he wants to stay in the NHL mix. The Blues will crash the net. This is a great test for him. Lord knows he's already been tested in Detroit. He stopped 40 out of 43 shots, so it's not like, he hasn't seen anything, but it's still good for him to get this kind of practice. And this is going to be a nasty game. I'm expecting some real rivalry, bad blood boiling over in this one. So the bottom line, this preseason game matters. It's a real test for this roster, especially the young guys. Play fast, play physical, and show progress. That's what Blashill's been talking about. That's what Davidson's been talking about. And that's what we all are talking about. Even in September, Hawks and Blues still means something. So that's your full preview, of the weekend's matchup. Let me know in the comments, which young player are you watching for, and who do you think is going to actually do so well in this game, they're going to crack the roster. That'll be fun. So thank you very much for that. And let's get to your hot takes. And we only had one, actually. That's fine. It's from a repeat offender, Mr. Ryan Austin, 1970. He says, I got to say, as someone from Southern Ontario, well, welcome, Mr. Ryan. Glad you're a part of this. Thank you for following the Hawks, even if you were in enemy territory. Thank you very much for that. Some of the really negative comments about Davidson, Blashill, and some of the young talent are quite offside. Have any of the naysayers taken a step back and thought about letting these guys let these guys disappoint you before you cut them down? Really sounds like psycho Leaf fans. Brian's basically saying, hey, cut these guys some slack, right? Chicago fans are very passionate. We can be passionate positively and we can be passionate negatively. But by and large, I think we're one of the more loyal fan bases. Yeah, we like to crap on our own team sometimes, but no one talks crap about our team, right? So I'm with you though, Ryan. I think Blashill, we got to let him work his schemes. We got to let those schemes become just really natural for our players to understand and to flow through during the game. I think they're going to benefit from it. Davidson's been very prudent. He's been very methodical about his approach. These things take time to develop. We are inherently a very patient and at the same time very impatient fan base. We've had some really high highs and really long stretches of lows. So we like more consistent highs, I think. So I hear you, Ryan. Thank you very much for your comment, as usual, sir. And side note, so I will do one for next Monday, but, and I'll share more about this next time, but my wife is believe it or not, she is a 2-time USA Today best-selling romance author, and she's written over 40 books. Well, she's going on a book tour next week out of the country. And so I will be with her and will not be doing this. So I will get back. I will be back in time for the first game for October 7th. I will be there for the puck drop. I will try to make sure that I get Monday's episode done so that we have Monday, but then I'm going to be off the rest of next week outside of Monday. And then we'll be back probably Tuesday or Wednesday to start off the season with you guys. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to be very jet lagged, so, but I'm going to be looking forward to sharing the start of the season with you guys. It's going to be so much fun. So, Blackhawks Nation, that's a wrap for today. If you're new here, please remember to like and subscribe. If you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support, really, truly, and also for sharing about the channel, spreading the love. For all my repeat offenders like Mr. Ryan in the comment section, please keep them coming. I love building this community with you guys. And thank you for checking out a Blackhawks Daily Download every weekday as we celebrate this original 6 team, which is the best team in hockey, with the best fans in all of sports, in the best city in the world. So I really appreciate it. I'm PJ, and I will see you next time. And have an awesome weekend, by the way. Just putting that out there. I'll see you next time on the Blackhawks Daily.